Hey, Blue Table fans! I thought I would show you some of the miniatures I used in my Dungeons & Dragons adventure that I both created and ran here at Valhalla 2020. This is an archer from the Dark Sword Company, which produces some really great metal figures. He's on a 25mm resin round put out by Secret Weapon Miniatures. Next is this rock troll. This is, oh man, I should know this. I think it's from Massive Darkness. I'm not completely certain. I call it a rock troll. I don't know what else it is. I like to reskin monsters by giving them a different form. This is from the monster profile that I use. It's the Galeb Dur from the new 5th edition Monster Manual. And by new, I mean 6 years old. Everything. I guess if you live to be an elven 900 years old, anything in the last 100 years would be recent. This is a Cockatrice from Massive Darkness, and it's this is one of my absolute favorite figures. It's extremely durable. It's made of this semi-hard plastic. I believe the publisher is Cool Mini or not. If I get these wrong, just let me know in the liner notes. I use some brighter colors on it. This little splash of green, I think, really makes him stand out. So this was this guy's pet in this one encounter, and that was a lot of fun. This is a miniature that's been remounted on a Games Workshop 25mm base. This is one of the outlaws that they were hunting. And this is just, a lot of these are just things I gave, I just gave them quick paint jobs, so don't be overly excited about that. Okay, let's continue. This creature, I don't know what it's called, I don't know what the company is, but I bought it for $2 off of Cool Mini or not on one of their sales. It's got 6 legs. It's just, everything is just really cool about this figure. I really love it. I think maybe the light in here is going to wash out my paint jobs and make them look worse than they already are. Okay, next step. This wasn't in the adventure. This is from a board game called Descent. And if you want some very inexpensive pre-assembled models for a role-playing game, definitely look to the board game Descent. Their original sculpts were really pretty lackluster, but you know, they've gotten a lot better since then. Next up, some of you may notice the base materials for this. These are 3 moon spiders that I converted up for my Emerald Spire campaign that I ran some years back. I believe the year was 2017. And I made them out of Tyranid bits that I had left over, painted them up myself, had a lot of fun. Put them on these oval Age of Sigmar specialty ruins, Shattered Domain or whatever they're called. And yeah, they're really cool. I ran them as advanced armored cave fishers in this game, which gave the party a very difficult encounter area. Whenever I design encounters, I like to make them dynamic. It's not like the party wanders into an area and it's like, oh, a basilisk lairs here and will soon charge out and attack the party. Rather, I like to make so something is already happening or something just happened, and it gives the party some motivation, something to investigate, and something to act on. In this case, the cave fishers were already reeling in. One of them was already reeling in one of the outlaws that they were looking for. So they have to make a decision, leave them to their fate, and then of course they don't know that there's 2 others lurking by, and they may soon be in the same boat. All right. It's all good fun. This eel creature, I'm not sure what it's really called. But it's from the Malefo Other Side game, and they come pre-assembled. And I just made the base, gave the base some good corking. You guys know how I believe about corking. And this just ends up, and look, it's sort of opening up on the inside, so it like exsanguinates its victims. And this is just a really cool, fun monster to just have, like a little wandering monster, a terror from the deep that shows up at any time. Now these are custom figures that I put together at Valhalla 2018, which was one of my first proofings of the ultimate D&D concept. And I've have so many miniatures, so I'm in a great position to actually run an event like that and have all those resources to do something, gives people an experience that they haven't had yet, which is all miniatures, all terrain. And when I was picking miniatures to bring up this year, I decided to bring as many unique things as I could, so when I put them on the table, people would not have seen those before. And the adventure that I ran lasted 11 hours, and it was supposed to be just a one-shot for 4 hours, so I definitely overdid it. So these guys are from a game called Rackham, and I found them on eBay, and they have like an orc rider up top. So all of this baggage, this is all various plastic parts from bits that I put on there. I cut off the orc rider's legs. Obviously I've covered those areas with barrels and packages and stuff. So these guys really, nobody's ever fighting these Brontops creatures. They just end up being sort of a interesting dungeon dressing for an encounter. And I'm really proud of how they turned out. Extremely, extremely happy with that. Now this model here, this is just a beautiful sculpt. It's made out of metal like the Brontops that I just showed you. And I remounted it on a privateer press base, I'm pretty sure. I like my bases to be consistent, so I shy away from these rounded bases, but some of my models have them. Maybe this is the base that they come with. And it's just this really, really, really cool bear. And this creature has been incarnated many times in various games of mine, and a cursed druid in one case. And in this last adventure that I just ran, it was a reskinned Triceratops. Get it? It has like the horns for the gore attack. It's really, really a super cool model, and we had a really good time with it. Let's see here. Hold on. This is a Minotaur. Again, I get it. The paint jobs are very simple. Simple yet effective. Mounted on a Games Workshop 32mm round here. And this is another figure from Descent. A little bit cartoonish, but a lot of fun. And it's good to have some Minotaurs on deck for henchmen and stuff like that. Next up, what I run as boggards in Pathfinder or bullywugs in D&D are these Frogmen. And I have a bunch of them, and you may notice that they have Warhammer Fantasy Lizardmen things sculpted onto them, or not sculpted, but converted onto them. And what's funny is they actually match. Like, oh no, they only have 2 fingers. Yeah, so I guess that is a mismatch. And the Lizardmen have 3 fingers. So anyway, but nobody ever notices, and they look really cool with their little Aztec type weapons and tribal war paint. And these guys are a lot of fun. It's just grunts. And in the game we played at Valhalla this year, these guys got blown up by the scores. It was pretty bad. And it's good to give the party a win, put them up against a bunch of weaker foes, and let the body count pile up. And my weakness as Dungeon Master is I tend to make every fight a boss fight, and that can be not always that can be a bit of a grind. You have to have an ebb and flow. This is a Salamandra from Mears Miniatures in the United Kingdom. Mears Miniatures, those guys are masters. I love them. I keep contacting them. I want to do cross promotions or I actually just want to promote their figures with some brag for swag. A very simple request, but so far I haven't received any response. And that's okay. I totally get it. But Mears Miniatures, if you're out there, I love your stuff. I want to give you a lot of love, and I want to paint up your figures because they are through the roof. These guys come on the bases put out by Mears Miniatures, and in the game it's a little difficult because these guys are on a 60 millimeter base when I really should have put them on a 50 millimeter base to be large creatures in Pathfinder or Dungeons and Dragons. Of course, that isn't really a problem when you're running things on real terrain and you're just using dice and tape measures. Or excuse me, yeah. Okay, fantastico. Next up are these striped skulkers. I think that's what they're called. They're from Malefo Miniatures, and they are they're on 40 millimeter bases. These guys are so cool, and they're so inexpensive that the models cost like $3 each, and they come pre-assembled. They're just like this. But no, I take that back. You actually do need to, I think, put on the tails or something. I don't know. I don't remember. But they're dynamic poses. They look so cool. And the fact is, it's not enough to have cool miniatures for your game and for it to be successful. Quite frankly, I don't know what makes a successful miniatures game. I have some really good ideas. I've been around a long time. But I've seen a lot of games that are absolutely fantastic just sort of wither away. And if I had to guess, I'd say most of the time it's because of overreach, that the company simply becomes overextended. They keep trying to do more and more. They start making different games. I think a company that has done it right and has done really well is Infinity. They have the one game, and it's 15 years later, and all they've done is make like a little sub-game, Aristea, but even that fits into their main game. So they've stayed focused on what they do well, which I think was the mistake of Rackham. They got a lot of money, they had some success, and then they just imploded themselves. And it's I've definitely taken those lessons to heart with my own company. I stick with what I do well. I'm tempted to run off and do different things, vanity projects or whatever, but I don't. I do something really well, and that's what I do. Okay, next up is an owl bear. And this is based on art by D. Terlizzi. I don't know his first name, but he's a really cool artist that's been around for like a really long time. And there's these little owlbear cubs that go with it. And I love this figure because it has like a little story. And you can start the encounter by just putting these little cubs out. And of course the players may harass them, or they may go out and try and befriend them and do things. But Mama is lurking nearby, and it takes quite a bit of exception to whatever it is that they're doing. Yeah, I'm playing with my toys. It's pretty pathetic. I'm 50, and I am playing with my toys. All right, and the last thing, and I'm bound to get this one wrong. This is a miniature from a Cthulhu board game, Cthulhu Wars. And this miniature is obviously ridiculously huge. Let me just get out that one archer guy. There you go. And he's like, it smells here. Ah! This model's super cool, and I wanted to own it. I actually painted this on a commission for a client. I painted a whole set of these Chaos Wars things. He came to pick them up. He was like, yeah, I really don't like them. So I ended up repainting the entire thing. And that's what I do. But we do take precautions to get it right the first time, of course. So it is rare for that. It was that they were too dark, and you know, some people just like sort of a brighter, cartoonish look, and that can look good. And this model's just really cool. This is another one where it's not. I don't view it as like an intelligent creature. It's just some sort of beastie for them to hack on, if that is the propensity of my particular run of players. All right, well, that's all I'm going to show you for now. I've definitely had a lot of fun collecting and painting these miniatures over the many years. I reserve a little bit of time and a little bit of resources to myself, a very small margin, and I use that time to paint up some figures. And I think that's it. All right, thanks for tuning in, and I hope you got your inspiration for the day.